Alright, so Scream 6 is finally available in theaters. I know I'm a little bit late to getting this review out, but hey, better late than never. This one is set about a year after the events of Scream 5, and once again we are following Sam and Tara Carpenter, who moved to New York City for a fresh start after the attacks in Woodsboro. And of course, it doesn't take long for their past and a new Ghostface to catch up with them and target them. As Sam and Tara Carpenter, we have Melissa Barrera and Jenna Ortega. Other returning cast members here, of course, we have Courtney Cox as Gail Weathers. We also have Jasmine Savoy Brown and Mason Gooding as brother and sister Mindy and Chad. And returning from Scream 4, we have Hayden Panettiere as Kirby Reed. I'll start off the review by saying this: I love the Scream franchise. The first Scream is one of my favorite slasher horror movies, one of my favorite movies in general. I might not love every movie in this franchise, but I still have a lot of love for the franchise. I will say a lot of the sequels kind of have a repetitive nature to it. It's getting a little stale. It's becoming a little predictable. With Scream 6 right here, does it break the formula? Very much so. Right from the beginning, this movie lets you know that it's not like the others, and also that its Ghostface is not like the others. If you couldn't already tell from the trailers, this Ghostface is one of the most brutal Ghostfaces we've had possibly ever. I would definitely say the gore in this film is amped up at an all-time high. The gore is so amped up in this movie that it almost reminds me of the Terrifier movies at times, which is both refreshing and also terrifying for this film. I'll say right now, this is the most anxious and the most scared I've ever been watching a Scream film. Since they kind of take a step back on the more meta and self-aware humor, they still have it in here, but they take a step back with it. It allows for the suspense to build a lot more. I really do commend the filmmakers here for trying out new things and taking the series in a different direction. Both the directors and writers of the film are the same directors and writers of the last film, so I like to see that consistency. But aside from those different tones and the most brutal Ghostface I've ever seen put to screen, there's also a lot of other surprises in this film that I was not expecting. Of course, I won't spoil any of those surprises for you guys because I'm not a jerk and I really want you guys to go watch this movie for yourselves, but I will say one of those surprises comes at the very beginning in the intro of the film. Of course, people know Scream intros start with somebody dying. That is the case in this movie. Surprise, surprise. They add some layers to it that I wasn't expecting. It really had me intrigued for what the rest of the movie would do. Now to talk about the main characters of this film, I enjoyed them for the most part. In Scream 5, I wasn't as crazy about the characters. I didn't care as much about them in Scream 5 as I do in here. Here, they give them a lot better of a story. They make them feel like an actual friend group. There's quite a few times throughout this movie where I'm not even thinking about Ghostface, and I just want to continue with the story with the friend group, which honestly is something a lot of Scream movies kind of struggle to do. I think the fourth movie did that very well. I think the first movie did that very well. But the movies in between kind of lacked on the other supporting characters. In this film, they're still not the best part of it, but there's definitely an improvement. There's a lot of other supporting characters in this movie I could talk about, but the one I really do want to talk about is Courtney Cox as Gail Weathers. No spoilers whatsoever for Scream 5, but in Scream 5, there's something that happens to the character of Gail Weathers that should have sent her character on a different trajectory. In this film, when you pick back up with her, she's kind of back to the character she was in the first and second Scream movies. It almost seems like she lost all that character progression that she got throughout all the films and went back to the way she was. It was very disappointing for me. She's not really in the movie much. I honestly think her character was completely wasted in this film. I guess I should also mention the fact that Neve Campbell as Sidney Prescott is not in the film due to disputes with the actress and the production company on how much she was getting paid for said movies. She decided not to be in this newest film. And while it's unfortunate we don't have Sidney Prescott in the film, I don't necessarily see a big gaping hole where her character should be. But I think bringing back Hayden Panettiere as Kirby Reed for this film kind of filled that gap that some Scream fans would probably notice. I really only have two complaints, one of them being there's something that happens very early on in the movie that feels like it should have been a bigger element of the film going forward, but kind of got swept under the rug the further along you went. So basically, just first time watching, there's only one thing that doesn't feel completely consistent about the film. And my other complaint, not even a huge complaint really, is the reveal. I think I already said it twice, but I will say it again. This is not a spoiler review, so I will not be revealing who Ghostface is in the film, but the reveal did have me a little bit disappointed. Similar to how I felt about Scream 2, the reveal isn't what did as much for me as what ensued after. The mystery aspect of the film of who Ghostface is was very intriguing to me, one of the most intriguing elements. It was at an all-time high of intrigue on trying to find out who Ghostface is, and by the time you got to the reveal, it let me down because it didn't feel as big a reveal as it could have been. But like I said, similar to Scream 2, what ensued after was extremely entertaining. At the end of the day, is this my favorite Scream movie? No, the first Scream will always be my favorite. Nothing will ever top that in my opinion. Is this my favorite Scream sequel movie? Still gotta say no. Honestly, I think Scream 4 is better than this one in my opinion. But this movie does a lot of different things with the franchise, and I respect it for it. So when it's all said and done, when it comes to my ranking, there are a few things that hold me back with the film. Gale Weathers, of course, being one of them. I really do think they did that character dirty in this film, unfortunately. Along with that, the reveal was a little bit underwhelming, and there's a few plot lines that I don't think we're seen all the way through. So I'm going to have to go ahead and give Scream 6 from 2023 a standard ticket. Still very much worth checking out. I think it's one of the most interesting Scream movies ever made. It's one of the most brutal Scream films ever made. This Ghostface is so different from all the ones we've seen before. One final opinion I'll add is that I do like this one more than the last one. So let me know down in the comments below, what did you think of Scream 6? Did you love it? Did you hate it? Are you in the middle? I'd also love to see your ranking of the Scream films down in the comments. Have you not seen it? Are you planning on watching it anytime soon? Why or why not? Comment that down below as well. Really, any comments you have for me, I'd love to hear from you. I respond to as much as I can. But do me a favor and leave a like on this video, subscribe, hit that notification bell so you never miss an upload, and I will see you in the next one.